Hello students, in this part we are going to discuss about the examples of the class Chondriocactis. Okay, that is the examples of the cartilaginous fishes. Then we'll move towards the osteocytes or the osteocactis, that is the bony fishes. We'll discuss about its general characteristic features. Okay, and we'll see certain examples. Now we are going to start with the class Chondriocactis, that means the cartilaginous fishes. In previous session we have discussed about the general characteristic features of the cartilaginous fishes, as well as we have discussed about certain examples like shark as well as the torpedo. Now we'll see some more examples again here. Okay, so write the examples of Chondriocactis. Okay, examples of Chondriocactis. Now let's see. The first example that we are going to discuss is here the Scoliodon. Okay, Scoliodon is also named as the dogfish. Okay, or it is also called as the Indian shark. Indian shark. Okay, so these are the common names of this Scoliodon. Okay, so let's see the general characteristic feature of the Scoliodon. Okay, so here most of the general characteristics are seen in the cartilaginous fish itself. That is the main general characteristic feature. But still, example wise, their specific characters can be understood. Okay, so here the first character they have five pairs of gill slits. Okay, so in the introductory part we have seen the cartilaginous fishes consist of 5 to 7 pairs, but in case of Scoliodon, that is the shark, they have the 5 pairs of gill slits. Okay, so the function of the gill slits, as we know, they are used for respiration. The next, the first dorsal fin is very large. Okay, so we can see the sharks when they swim. Okay, the dorsal fin, the large first dorsal fin, it emerges outside, and we can know that the Scoliodon or the shark, they are the surface feeders, right? So they swim on the surface of the water, means around the surface of the water. So the fin, that is the first dorsal fin, okay, will emerge outside the water body. So that is the which is very large, and we can recognize the fish by this print. The next, their liver, their liver stores, their liver stores more amount of oil, more amount of oil. Now this oil has various medicinal importance, okay, or and it is economically also important, okay. So it is of medicinal use. Most probably we are using it as a medicine, okay. So they store the liver oil, okay. That is called it is called as the it is called shark liver oil. Shark liver oil. Okay, so that is the shark liver oil, which is found in the liver or which is been stored within the liver of the sharks. Okay, the next, the skin, the skin of shark is used as abrasive, abrasive, abrasive. Okay, and that abrasive is called, which is called right here, which is called Shangron, which is called Shangron. Okay, oh, sorry, Shangreen actually, which is called Shangreen, not Shangron, which is called Shangreen. Okay, so they have the abrasives on the skin surface. The next, it is or they are ovoviviparous. So as you know that we have discussed about it. What is ovoviviparous? That means they lays the eggs within the body itself. After hatching, the young ones are released outside the body. So that is called ovoviviparous. Okay. The next example that we are going to discuss is here the torpedo. Example number 2, torpedo. Okay. Sorry, torpedo. So here they are also referred as the electric ray. Electric ray. Okay, they are also called as the electric ray, as they have the electric organs. Okay, they possess the. We can write here. They have electric organ. Okay, they have electric organ to kill the prey. To kill the prey. Okay, so that is the name of or that is the function of this torpedo basically, or that is the functional organ you can say, and other characteristics will be similar to that of the other cartilaginous fishes. The third example that we are going to discuss is here is chimera. A chimera fish. What kind of chimera fish it is? This fish is also referred as the rat fish or rabbit fish or which is also named as the kings of kings of herrings. Kings of herrings. Okay, so these are the other names which are given to the chimera fish. Okay, and it acts as connecting link connecting link between cartilaginous and bony fish. Okay, now how does it act as a connecting link between the cartilaginous and bony fish? That is by representing certain structures. So they have the endoskeleton of cartilaginous fishes. Okay, that is the endoskeleton is made up of cartilage. The next, and in case of character of bony fish, see in cartilaginous fishes we have seen the gill slates, they are not covered by the operculum, right? In case of bony fish, the gill slates are covered by the and covering that is called operculum. So here we have operculum, which is a characteristic of a bony fish. Okay, so in this way we can see it is a connecting link between the what we say cartilaginous fishes and the bony fishes. Okay, I hope you are getting this. You can pause the video and note down these points. We'll move to some more examples under this. So let's see few more examples of this. That is the fourth example is trigon. Okay, so these are commonly called as the stingrays. Stingrays. So they have the sting uh, at the anterior part, which is used to kill the prey. Okay, that is called stingray. Then fifth example is Zygena. Now Zygena fish, it is commonly called as the hammerhead shark or hammer-headed shark. Means the structure of the head part in this kind of fishes, it looks like hammer. So that is called hammer-headed shark. Then and these fishes are also it is a viviparous fish. Viviparous fish. Okay. So as we have discussed already in the cartilaginous fishes, most of them are the oviparous, few are oviviparous, and some are viviparous. That means they can lay instead of laying the eggs, they will give rise to the new young ones. Okay, or they will give birth to the new young ones. Okay, so that is called the viviparous. The next, prestis or prestis. Okay, the prestis, it is also referred as the sawfish. Now, as the name indicates, okay, when we look after the structure of this fish, you know the rostrum, that is the anterior part of the mouth, okay, that is acting as a saw like. So it has a structure similar to saw, okay. Saw, that is the cutting blade we are using. So similar structures can be seen in that fish. So what the name is given, sawfish, okay, and it is also it is also viviparous. It is also viviparous. That means they give birth to the young ones. The next, another example under the cartilaginous species is the rhinodon. Rhinodon. So, what kind of fish it is? It is referred as the longest shark. Longest or largest shark. Okay. So, rhinodon is the longest or largest shark. So, these are certain examples under class Chondrichthyes. Okay. I hope you have got all the information about it. Just what you have to do, you have to note down the point and revise it properly with reference to these examples. Okay. So, let's move to the another class of super class Pisces, that is the Osteichthyes. Okay. Or the bony fishes. And we'll see the general characteristics of this Osteichthyes. Okay. So, let's start with it. Okay. So here we are moving with the next, that is class second, class, okay, Osteichthyes. Osteichthyes. So the class Osteichthyes, in class Osteichthyes we can see, or they are commonly called as the bony fishes. Bony fishes. Okay. So here we will discuss about the characteristic feature, that is the general characteristic feature of the class Osteichthyes. Okay. So let's start with it. Now, why they are called bony fishes? As the endoskeleton, it is composed of bones. In cartilaginous fishes or chondrichthyes, the endoskeleton was composed of cartilage. In these fishes, the endoskeleton is made up of bones. Okay. So the first point will be the endoskeleton is made up of bones. Okay, the endoskeleton is made up of bones. Then next, they also have exoskeleton. They also have exoskeleton, which is made up of the dermal scale or dermal scales. Okay, which is made up of dermal scales, and these dermal scales can be of three types. Okay, it can be of three types. Okay, and which are those three types? That is, they may have the cycloid type of scales. Okay, then they may have the genoid type of scales or genoid type of scales, and third we have the ctenoid type of scales. Ctenoid type. Okay, so these are the different types of the scales which can be seen on the dermal part, that is on the skin part of the bony fishes. The next, another point, bony fishes can be freshwater or marine. So as far as the habitat is concerned, they are found in the water, both in fresh water as well as in the marine water. Okay. The next, fins are paired, that is similar to the cartilaginous fishes, that is the pectoral and pelvic fins. Okay, pectoral and pelvic fins. The next, they also have the unpaired dorsal, ventral and caudal fin. Okay, so dorsal in the sense which is found at the dorsal part, ventral means at the stomach region, near the stomach region, and caudal means at the tail part. But here the caudal fin, it is homocircle. In case of cartilaginous fishes, we have seen they are heterocircle. That means the caudal fins will have the two identical or two equal lobes. Okay, in case of heterocircles, we have seen two unequal size lobes are present in the caudal fin. So here it is homocircle. Okay. Then next point that we are going to discuss is the mouth. Okay. Mouth is at anterior part. In case of cartilaginous fishes, we have seen the mouth is at where? See, if we look after the structure of mouth again once here, okay, you can see. Suppose this is the anterior part of the fish and mouth. In those cartilaginous fishes, it is at the ventral part. But in case of the bony fishes, mouth is at the anterior part. So mouth is anterior. Okay. Few more characters are also there. According to the digestive system, according to circulatory system, according to respiratory system, according to excretory system, then again reproductive system that we have to discuss. So you can pause the video and note down these points. Okay. So next that we are going to discuss after mouth is the digestive system. Okay. So here we are going to discuss about the digestive system. digestive system. So, in case of bony fishes, the digestive system is complete and it consists of a separate opening, which is not seen in case of cartilaginous fishes. In cartilaginous fishes, what we have seen, they don't have the separate opening. There is a common opening called cloaca, which is acting common for both reproductive system as well as it is acting as a common for excretory system, right? But here, in case of bony fishes, there is a separate opening and that opening is called anus. So, they have separate opening, okay, called anus. Okay, they have separate opening called anus. The next, they do not have scroll valve. Okay, that means within the intestine we have seen in the cartilaginous fishes there is a presence of scroll valve, which is most commonly it is absent in case of bony fishes. Okay, the next, the teats are homodont, then polyphyodont, okay, then acrodont. See, in case of fishes, we can see such a property. Homodont means all the teats, okay, they have similar type of shape. Okay, so the homo means same and dont means teeth. Same type of teeth are seen. Okay, that is like this. These are having, suppose this is the jaw socket on which the tooths are arranged. Okay, so such a arrangement of the tooth can be seen, which are of having same shape, that is triangular pointed sharp teeth are there. Then polyphyodont. Polyphyodont is a property of what we say, re-arising the teeth. Like in humans or in other animals we see there is only two set of teeth. Okay, in Marathi or Hindi we call it as a doodh ke daant, right? In Marathi it is called dudache daant. So that milk set, if it is broken, new teeth will be arised. But after that, those teeth again they are broken, no teeth will be arised. So that is called diphyodont, means the teeth will be arising in the life of that organism two times. In case of shark or in case of most of the fishes or some aquatic animals, they have the polyphyodont type of property. Okay, as they catch the prey by their jaw. Okay, so their jaw sockets have capability to regenerate their teeth again and again. So that property is called as the polyphyodont, means many times the teeth will be rearranged or they are been regenerated. The next, acrodont, it is the arrangement of the teeth within the jaw socket. So suppose this is a jaw socket and the arrangement of the teeth is very superficially arranged. Okay, so when they catch the prey, at that time most of the teeth they are broken down. Okay, so such a arrangement is called acrodont. So different types of arrangement are seen in different types of animals. We will discuss about it when we will discuss about the digestion and absorption chapter. Okay, in that we have the different types of teeth. Okay, so we will discuss about it in that chapter. Now here the aquatic animals or the fishes, that is the bony fishes, possess the homodont, polyphyodont and acrodont properties. The next, another type of system that we are going to discuss is the respiratory system. Respiratory system. So they are showing the branchial respiration. Branchial respiration. Okay, through four pairs of gills. Okay, so they show the branchial type of respiration, that is the respiration which is taking place through the gills, and they have the four pairs of gills. Okay, 4 pairs of gills. The next, the gills are covered with, the gills are covered with or covered by operculum. Okay, operculum is a covering which is found onto the gill slits, and it is only found in case of bony fishes. It was absent in case of cartilaginous fishes. Okay, the next, another here I'll write about the respiratory system only. Then they have swim bladder, or it is also called as the air bladder. Okay, and it acts as, hydrostatic organ. Hydrostatic organ. Okay, and also acts as lungs. Okay, that means it stores the air. Okay, and it has certain functions that we'll discuss later. Okay, that means we'll discuss about this type of function later. The next, we'll move to the another type of system, that is called circulatory system. Okay, so what we see in the circulation, generally the circulatory system, it is similar to the cartilaginous fishes, as they are the same group. Okay, means here they don't have the same group, but they are coming under superclass Pisces. Okay, so generally they have two chambered heart. Okay, and this two chambered heart will have two accessory chambers, that is the sinus venosus and the trunk or truncus arteriosus. Okay, that will be the accessory chamber in case of the bony fishes. So let's write down. They have two chambered heart. Okay, the heart is two chambered. The next, that is one auricle and one ventricle. Okay, one auricle and one ventricle. The next, they show branchial type of circulation, or they have, we can write the heart is branchial type. Branchial type means what? The means there will be flow of only deoxygenated blood through the heart. So what that type of heart is referred as branchial type, and it has single circulation heart. Okay, they have the single circulation heart. So now when we look after the point, that is about the air bladder. Okay, in air, so this air bladder, it is also consisting of the kind of ossicle or a kind of bone. A tiny bone is there which is supporting to this air bladder. Okay, and why it is supporting to that air bladder? Because it helps in hearing the sound. Okay, so the air bladder, here I will make a arrow, you can note down this point again. It is supported by Weberian ossicle. Now Weberian ossicle is a small bone.
okay, which is connected to internal ear as well as the air bladder, okay, and which help in hearing of the clear cut sounds in underwater, okay. So these fishes can move according to that. So these are the certain general characteristic feature according to the digestive system, respiratory system, then circulatory system, okay. Now next we are going to discuss about some few more characters about the excretory system, okay. So we can see here. Now next that we are going to discuss is here the another system that is called excretory system. Excretory system. Okay. So excretory system. So excretory system in case of bony fishes. Okay. So in bony fishes we see that the excretory material, okay, it is different from that of the cartilaginous fishes. In cartilaginous fishes, urea was the excretory material. Okay. In case of bony fishes, they eliminate okay, ammonia as main nitrogenous waste, as main nitrogenous waste. So whatever waste it is been released by the excretory organs or by the bony fishes is the ammonia, okay, which is more concentrated, and for removal of this nitrogenous waste material the water is required in high amount. So these fishes can dissolve this ammonia into the water very easily, okay. So the excretory substance is the ammonia. The next another characteristic feature is the about body temperature. Okay. So whether the bony fishes are capable of maintaining their body temperature or not. So generally they are poikilotherms, or they are also referred as the cold-blooded animals. Okay. So we can write here they are poikilotherms or cold-blooded. Okay, cold-blooded animals. The next, reproduction or the reproductive system. Reproduction. Now what kind of reproduction is seen? Okay, generally a sexual reproduction, but they show or they may not show the sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism. Now sexual dimorphism in the sense, see, in case of animals, when we talk about sexual dimorphism, all the characters will come again. That is the what kind of body they have. Females have different type of body, males have different type of body. Okay. So in case of this organism, they may show the sexual dimorphism or they may not show the sexual dimorphism. So both, that is males and female, can be exactly similar to each other, but gametically or gonad wise they are different. Okay. So they may show the sexual dimorphism. Okay. Then next, they do not have claspers. Now what are claspers? These are the copulatory organs. Okay, this copulatory organ is only seen in case of cartilaginous fishes. It is absent in case of bony fishes. Okay, and generally in the males, it is found in the males. Okay, the next, they are oviparous, some may be oviviparous, ovoviviparous, and some may be viviparous. That is similar to the cartilaginous fishes. Okay, that is oviparous. Oviparous, that means egg laying. Some are ovoviviparous, that means laying eggs but hatched into the body itself and giving rise to the young ones. And viviparous means directly giving to the young birds. Okay, so that is the different types of activities can be seen in this type of bony fishes. The next, they come under a category called, an amniota. So around the egg or around the fetus there will be presence of an amniotic layer. Okay, in the germinal layer there is an amniotic layer, but here in these animals the amniotic layer is absent. Okay, it is a sticky substance which provides the nourishment to the developing fetus, but in case of these animals the amniotic layer is absent, so they are called as the anamniota, or it can also be referred as the extra embryonic layer. Okay, amnion means extra embryonic layer. Okay, so these are the certain characteristic feature of the bony fishes. Now we are going to discuss about certain examples of the bony fishes. Okay, so I'll rub this and we'll start with the examples. So we can write the examples of bony fishes. Okay, so the first example is rohu. Okay, the scientific name of the rohu is labio rohita. Okay, labio rohita, and the common name is the rohu. Now it is a freshwater fish and edible. So we can eat this fish, that is rohu. Another example of the bony fish is katla or catla, which has the scientific name catla or katla you can call. Okay. Now this is also the freshwater and edible fish. That means it is found in the fresh water and which is also edible. We can eat this fish. The next, third example is anguilla. And this anguilla is commonly called as the eel. Okay, anguilla is commonly called as the eel. So these anguilla are the migratory fish. Okay, so they migrate from the fresh water to the sea water. Okay, so they are migrating from fresh water to marine water. Okay, you can write they are migratory. Then the fourth example that we are going to discuss is the hilsa. Okay, so the fourth example is the hilsa. Okay, So Hilsa, they are marine. Okay, it is a marine fish. Marine fish. Okay, and it also shows the migration. That is, it is migrating. Okay, migrates from sea water to fresh water. Okay, so they show the migration, and such type of fishes, okay, and such type of fishes, they are referred as the anadromous. Okay, anadromous, and the fishes here, the angulous type of fishes which are showing the migration from fresh water to marine water, they are referred as the catadromous. Okay, they are referred as the catadromous. Okay, the next example is the sardine, commonly referred as salmon. Okay, and these are marine and edible. Okay, these are marine and edible. Then another example is the hippocampus. Hippocampus. Now hippocampus is generally referred to the seahorse. Okay, or it is also referred as seahorse. Now in hippocampus, one of the special characteristic feature can be understood. Okay, in this the males, they show brood pouches. Okay, so males have brood pouches. Okay, now what does it mean? Brood pouches means what? See, after the reproduction, in case of seahorses, the males will carry the eggs, okay, until they are released outside the body, and they will take the parental care of those eggs, okay, until they grow up. So they are actually responsible for hatching the young ones. Okay, so they take the parental care of the animals, okay, or the parental care of the young ones. Okay, and this stores the eggs, that is the brood pouch. Okay, the next seventh example, that is of lungfish, or which is also referred as Protopterus. Protopterus. So Protopterus, they are commonly called as the African lungfish. African lungfish. Okay. Now, what is special about this Protopterus is they act as connecting link. Okay, that is, they are acting as connecting link between cartilages and bony fish. Now, what the characters will be found uh, between these two fishes? That is, if they have the cartilaginous part, that means what type of character they have? They may have scales, that is the exoskeleton part, okay, and lateral line organ. Lateral line organ. So, in case of cartilaginous fishes, we have seen there is a presence of lateral line organ, that is called rheoreceptor, okay, which help in the swimming. Okay, so means through the water current, the one can understand whether the predator is near or not. Okay, and the character of bony fishes, they have, sorry, not bony actually, it is a connecting link between the, okay. So it acts as connecting link between the bony fish and amphibians, okay. It acts as connecting link between bony fish and amphibian, okay. So bony fish, the structure which are present in the bony fish are the presence of scales and lateral line organ. So lateral line organs are like rheoreceptor which help in the swimming, okay, of the bony fishes. Then apart from that, in amphibians, as they have the, okay, as the amphibian character, the lungfish, they have lungs, okay, they consist of lungs. Also they possess the gills which are similar in case of bony fishes, or which can be seen in the bony fishes. So they have the character of, that is, they consist of gills, as well as they have the lungs like amphibians. The next, they have internal nares. Internal nares. Internal nares in the sense, these are the small opening present on the body wall, that is acting as a nostril, okay. Instead of nostril we call them as internal nares, okay. And they have three chambered heart. They have three chambered heart. Who? This, the Protopterus or the African lungfish. So they consist of the three chambered heart, and three chambered heart, it is not seen in case of fishes, okay. But this fish is the exceptional, as it possesses the characters of both bony fish as well as amphibian. In amphibian we see they consist of three chambered heart, okay, two auricle and one ventricle. In case of fishes we see only two chambered heart, that is one auricle and one ventricle. And in case of aves and alligator and crocodile as a reptiles, okay, only these two reptiles, and the mammals, they have the four chambered heart, okay. So these are the few examples of the bony fishes. One more example we can add here, number 8, that is the Gambusia. Gambusia, that is these fishes, okay. Gambusia are the very important fishes in to maintain the environmental conditions, okay, or to maintain the environment free from the insects. So basically, in general language we call it is a guppy maase in Marathi, okay. So what is the function of this guppy maase or the Gambusia? They feed onto the larva of the mosquitoes, okay. So they feed on larva of mosquito, okay. So as they feed onto the larva of the mosquito, they will make clear this water, okay. So it will not be more contaminated, as the larva will develop into the insects like mosquito, they can cause various diseases, okay. So this, if we use the Gambusia type of fishes, they can clean the larva of the mosquitoes. So in this way we have covered the superclass Pisces, that is it consisting of the two types of classes on the basis, okay, that is what is that, the bony Chondroctis and the Osteichthyes, that is the cartilaginous fishes and the bony fishes, okay. Now there is an assignment from me to all the students. What you have to do is, you have to note down the comparative points between the cartilaginous fish as well as the bony fish, okay, and you have to send me the snaps of that both the fishes. That will be your homework, okay. I hope you have got this. If you have any kind of doubt, you can text me, or else you can also ask in the doubt session. Thank you.